Okay, I'm going to show you how to test algebraically if a function is even or odd. Basically, to test for an even or odd function, you always want to test even first. If you look, we're trying to see whether it matters if you plug a positive x or a negative x in. If it's an even function, it shouldn't matter whether you plug a positive or negative x in, you should get the same value out. So instead of going through and plugging in multiple numbers, we're just going to go ahead and substitute negative x in. So here's what's going to happen. You already know what f of x is. That is our original. So we're going to find out what f of negative x is. When I substitute negative x in, I get negative x squared plus 3 negative x minus 5. Notice a minus 5 doesn't have a substitution involved because there's no variable that goes along with it. When I clean this up, because I have an even exponent, basically remember all even exponents, the whole entire value is not going to change. So when I substitute in, or when I simplify this, I end up with a 2x squared, but I have a positive 3 times a negative x, so that leaves a negative 3x minus 5. And if you look, we have 2x squared and 2x squared up above, so let me rewrite the original right below it. And notice everything is okay so far. The first part's okay, the last part's okay, but the negative 3x is supposed to be a positive 3x. So because these are not exactly the same, this is not an even function. Now let's talk about trying to see if your function is odd. I already wrote down the odd test, but basically what's going to happen is we're going to use the original, or the last equation we just received with f of negative x, and now you're going to go ahead and take the opposite of the entire original equation. So notice where the negative is located on the outside of the original equation. Now I'm going to pause this for a second and go ahead and write out what f of negative x was, just for a quick heads up. Okay, as you can see, I already have the f of negative x written down, so what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and solve and find out what negative f of x is. So notice this is different than the one we just did because the negative is located on the outside. When the negative is located on the outside, basically I'm taking the opposite of everything the original equation. So all my signs are changing. So I get a negative 2x squared, a negative 3x, and now the negative 5 becomes a positive 5. And we just got to look, are the two equal? And notice on the first one, these two, the 2x squared and the negative 2x squared, are not equal. So this is not odd either. So if this is not even, and it's not odd, that leads us to this being a neither graph. And I would say probably around 90% of the equations you're going to be working with are probably going to fall into the neither category.